Hello everyone, welcome back my handmade warriors to Nikki's Handmade World. Now, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be making some candles. Now I'm just gonna go through all the basics with you to give you the gist of how I make my candles actually that are available through my business. I make all different types of candles. Of course, I make tons of other stuff too. But one of my favorite things to do is actually make candles because it just makes my kitchen smell amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and get into some candle making. Now this is some wax that I already have melted. I've added fragrance to it and I've added color to it. We're actually gonna, I'll show you the process a little later on in the video. But for this is actually for my candles called Love in the Stars. It's a special blend of fragrances. As you can see in the background, a little bit of the fragrances. I have so many that I mix together to make my own special blends. And this is actually going to be topped with whipped wax. And it is the finished product. Definitely check out the links below if you want to see firsthand of how this actually looks. Make sure you check out the Instagram too. There's plenty of pictures on there. Or you can just order one through my site or go to Instagram and DM me. Now this is a must-have for anybody that's gonna make candles or considering making candles. This is something you must have. This is a kitchen scale. Now this kitchen scale is detrimental to any candle maker's business because you have to know the actual weight of the wax that you'll be using, because also you will have to measure that out, measure your fragrances out, and it's really important. Also, it's important for the packaging, what's the weight of the finished product candle. I will make another video on how to make labels, how I make my labels for my candles, all my different candles, my setup, my whole deal. But for right now, we're just kind of making some candles. So as you can see, I have my pot that I use the double boiler method, which means that you'll see it in a moment, but you'll see how I actually melt the wax. I only use soy wax. I think it is a cleaner burning, more friendlier wax. So the wax that I'm going to be using in this video and throughout this whole video, you're going to see is soy wax. And so all natural soy wax, and I love it also because it's so fun to clean up, very easy to clean up. It's water soluble, and with the soap it just like rinses away, and it definitely is a preferred wax for me. So as you can see, I am measuring out with that's 1 cup that I'm actually using, the white measuring cup there, that is 1 cup. And I'm just adding it, and as you can see at the bottom, it gives me the readout. Now for this particular one that I'm measuring for, I'm making I'm making I think 5 or so of the next candles that you're gonna see me make next. And I believe that is the Berry Scotch Dreams, such a popular candle through my company on my site. Make sure you check it out, but it's called Berry Scotch Dreams, and it is a combo candle, which means that is the bottom half is kind of a solid fragrant layer, and then it has a top layer of fragrant whipped wax with some garnishments inside of it as well. So you'll actually see how I do that, so definitely continue to watch. And I also make a separate video showing you how I make the embeds for the candles, the little bears, the little stars, different things like that. That's definitely coming up in the next video. So what I'm doing now is using my second, you see, using my second thing there, going to also measure out a 2nd cup, because since I have the smaller ones, you can get a larger kind of pail that I'm using here. This is stainless steel. It's specially made for candle making. So you see I have one, and then I have the second one there. I do make my candles in small batches, so this works for me because I make different types of candles. But as you can see, I have the other one kind of loaded, and then the second one I am measuring to fill that on up, and I'm keeping note of how much is going in there. As you can see right there. Yeah. That's right, thumbs up. So just measuring that out, everything looks good there. So now I can go ahead and, you know, show you what's in there. Dust off my trusty scale. I love this thing, cannot work without it. All right, so this is the double boiler method. If you're familiar with candle making, you know what this is. But what you do is take a larger pot, fill it not too much with water, but you want to basically cover the bottom half or so of the stainless steel pails that you're using. So as you can see there, now this is also very important. You got to have your thermometer. Now this is a thermometer specifically made for candles. I guess you could also use it kind of for meat and stuff, but you know, I don't mess with no meat over here, so soy it is. And so what you do there is you just put it in, and it's gonna basically boil the pails you have inside with kind of a steaming sort of heat, and it slowly melts the wax, doesn't burn it, it just kind of melts it. And with a thermometer you can check on the temperature. So you see I came back, it's mostly melted there, and you know, just checking out the temp, seeing where we are. And what I did is I actually poured the remainder of the second container into this one. So this is 2 in 1. Once it melts down, the liquid gets, you know, down so much that you can pour them all into one. Now this is the candle jars, the 8-ounce candle jars I use for my Berry Scotch Dreams candle. And so what I'm doing now is you have to make sure they have wicks in them to burn. So I'm just showing you there the bottom of it. And what you do is, you know, some people use hot glue gun, but I find that sometimes it can get a little crazy as far as it melting, different things like that. So I use glue dots that are specifically made for wicks. Now what I'm doing here is, with the glass jars, I learned a little trick. You have to heat the glass up for a little bit, not a lot, but you have to heat it up a little bit so you can get some adhesion of the wax to the sides of the glass, the inner glass. So when you pour it, it won't kind of separate from the glass. So if it's a little warm and then you're pouring the warm wax into it, then it makes a nice tight seal, and it looks aesthetically kind of pleasing. So that's what's going on there. Now with soy wax, I know other waxes like paraffin wax, which is a little made from petroleum products, that sort of thing. You can add fragrances to it maybe at a higher temperature, but with soy you want to lower that temperature. So some people do 100 and, well, the melting point usually for this type of wax, which is the natural soy wax 444, is about 181, but I like it to cool as much as possible before I add any fragrance. But you do want to add the color immediately. So you want to add that when your wax is about maybe at 155 or so, maybe 160. You can add the coloring and then let that temperature drop all the way down, which I like to do, all the way down to about 110, like really low. And then you add your fragrances. That way you can get a better sort of fragrance throw, which means the amount of fragrance that your candle puts off when it's lit. So, and then I pour it in. So as you can see here, I'm just topping off each candle. Now it's not going to be a full all the way up candle, because remember, my Berry Scotch Dreams is half, you know, the base candle, the base fragrance, And then it gets the whipped wax, fragrant whipped wax on top, which is what I'm doing here. So it looks a little more pinkish when the wax is wet. I mean, when the wax is hot. So it kind of looks redder, but it actually dries up to a kind of a light pink. So you can see we're done there. And from those measurements, so it's about maybe 6, I measured for about 5 candles, but it came out to about 4 candles, like with a good amount. So worked out pretty good. Now I'm gonna do my Blueberry Dreams candle. And as you can see, I have the blue. The blue is there. So we're gonna, I already put it in actually. So what I did is just use the colorant that are specifically made for candles. You can order them on Amazon, anywhere. And what I did is I added it when it was pretty hot and then let it cool down. As you can see, looks very beautiful, very blue. And I added my secret combo fragrance. You do see some fragrances in the background there, but I have so many that the combo I use, you'll never guess it. But if you want to experience it, make sure you buy one and check it out. So I'm just separating them. Now these also have been warmed up in the oven like I showed you. Now you don't warm them up for long. You only warm them up maybe 5 minutes when the oven's already going. So you want to make sure that that's not something that you're doing, like leaving it in a long time. No more than 10 minutes. And that's without the wicks inside. So you put the wicks in after you take it out of the oven. If you're using glass, you don't have to do that with tins, because I do have some tins that I do as well. But with glass, that little trick actually really makes a big difference. But you really got to keep your eye on it. So this is my Berry Scotch Dreams, and as I said before, it's kind of a half and half sort of candle. Half of it is the base, and then half of it is the whipped wax on top with embeds inside. So I'm just leveling them off, just making them balanced kind of with each other. Look how beautiful that color is. It is amazing. And remember, this is soy wax, cleaner burning, less harmful, and I just really love working with soy wax. It's just awesome. So we got to make sure that everything is nice and even. and I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. No specific ruler or anything, but it is working. So that's it. So my measurements that I'm using, obviously you can tell, is aimed for about 4 candles a piece. Sometimes I may do 8 candles at a time, but I like the small batches because I can customize them as I need. Now we're gonna go ahead and make some, and as you can see, this wax is already melted. It's at about 130. The boiling point for this wax, I would say, is about 160 something, maybe 170, but it's pretty fully melted in the 160s. So that's all melted, and I did add my fragrance already. So at this point, the wax has been cooled all the way kind of down to maybe 115, no higher than 120 to add fragrance. You want it low. You want it low. Not solidifying, but you want it low for soy wax, I mean. So sometimes I'll let it even get down to like 107, like if I really wanted to have a nice scent throw. So this is actually going to be my Reiki, my 9 crystal Reiki candles, which are super popular actually. Make sure you check them out. And they require you to kind of fill it all the way up. So these are all the way up. They don't get the whipped wax, because on top of them, they get crystal embeds on top. It's made for meditation, very relaxing. The scents that are in it are very relaxing, very unique, and I just love that candle. Actually, it's a really popular candle for people that are into holistic healing and meditation. It's just an all-around beautiful candle. And it has 9 natural crystals inside of it. All right, yep, thumbs up. So now it's time for some whip wax. So we got the Reiki and they're sitting off to the side and solidifying. Now what I did here is I just mixed up the wax, but then what I did is I took a blender. It's a kind of a small one, like a handheld one. I bought it specifically to make wax, but I guess you could use it for coffee or I don't know, something. But it's kind of a smaller version. And because I do small batches, it really works for me. So as you can see, this is wax, just the regular soy wax whipped up. Now it is cooled, obviously, and then it is fragranced. And then I just whip it around until it gets to this consistency. You don't want it to be liquidy, but you don't want it to be hard. So you have to keep your eye extremely on this if you're doing whip wax, because it will harden on you quick. Not as quick as paraffin, but it will it will harden on you and get a little tough to kind of squeeze. Now what I'm doing is, if you would, you know, have like the baker's bag and you're making cupcakes or something like that, or like an edge of a birthday cake, that's actually kind of what I'm doing. Now I do have a baker's bag, but I wanted to try to use this this plastic bag because I saw like somebody do it on YouTube and I was like, oh, let me try it. But it didn't work because the bag was just too porous and it kept getting holes in it, and it was so crazy. I'm telling you guys, it's like trial and error. Usually I use the baker's bag, but I wanted to try it this way and I was like, okay, let's try it. So I mean, I got all of the you're getting all of the real deal going on here. So you see it's kind of coming out a little bit, then I'm checking it like, what? Why is it giving me a hard time? And it was giving me a hard time. I was like, what is going on? So you see me coming back. I said, okay, let me try it again from this side. But then it just started getting holes in the bag because I guess it was just too much. The wax was just too much. And I was trying to squeeze it out, and look at that. You see that? It just poked out of the back. And I was like, oh, this is not working. So I'll put it in one of my baker's bags, and it came out better. But then, as you're gonna see, the little piece that goes in it, because it was so engulfed in wax and my hands were so slippery, I'm telling you, trial and error, like the struggles I go through for my craft. So it was coming out, and there you go. See, we got some action there. It kind of goes around. There you go. That's one done. So we're gonna try this one, and then you're gonna see what happens. So we're good there. We're good there. Okay, we got some action, and as you can see, they look super cute because of that. But look what happened. The actual tip came out. You see that? Like, what? Guys, you're getting the real deal. Like, you can't make this up. So I was like, what the F? Like, what? I was so mad at this point, but I was like, okay, I gotta continue to go on. So I went off camera. I was trying to figure it out. I took the tip off. I kind of rinsed it off a little bit. My hands were soaked with wax. Like, forget it. Making this whipped wax can get so messy. But you know what, guys? I love it. It's so super fun. It is super fun. So what I'm doing off camera, and I'm still off camera, and I'm like, what? Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure it out, and I'm over there. Yeah. So sorry for the little delay, but yeah. I was like, let me figure this out. So I'm back. And I'm like, okay, I am going to make this work. Like, forget this. So I put it back in, and it still kept sliding out. And I was like, OMG. Like, but see, I could have easily cut that part off, but I didn't, because I wanted you guys to see the struggle. Like, the struggle is real. So what I did was I just took the tip off, but it still had kind of a narrow kind of shape because the way the bag was. And my hands are so slippery, like, OMG. Don't worry, I cleaned it up after though. But as you can see, because it is kind of a tunneled sort of style, I was still able to get the wet wax kind of going around. And I was like, yes, this will work. It's a little smoother, like it doesn't have the specific ridges, but it still came out super awesome. You're gonna see it toward the end, so make sure you stay tuned to that. But as you can see, the wax is going in. Yes, get over there. It's going in. And I love it. And when these things are done, look at that. It's getting in there. Yes, I love it. It's getting in there. We got some action. Yes. So I was able to salvage some of these. Now, I didn't obviously have enough of the last one because of the the things coming out, and it was just all over my hands and squirting out. But I did measure it to fill all of the 6, but because of the drama and the spillage, I did 5, but that's okay. So as you can see, I got some in there, and what I did also is I made a little, the good thing about this is I can always make more and fill it in. So you see some are super full and then some are not. All I have to do is just make some more and then fill in those gaps, which is the wonderful thing about doing it yourself and learning it yourself. You learn all types of different things. So I love it. So as you can see, we're back. See how that looks? It actually came out pretty good. And all I have to do is kind of top it off with a little bit if I need to. But in the meantime, these are my embeds. Now I made these from like a cookie, a candy mold. And I will do a video and show you guys how I make embeds. So these are soy embeds. They are, have fragrance on them as well. So they are, they're wax, soy wax that I put into a mold and then peel them out one by one. And then, you can stick them. I have so many different types of molds that I just love. And what I decided to do was just kind of do that. Like the smaller one will be just kind of like the one there that I'm working on will be kind of just like a gift or like a sample or something like that. But the other ones came out pretty full, pretty good. So the other ones, except for the one in the back, actually came out really good. So what I do is I put the embeds in. There we go. Super cute embeds, and they smell amazing. Like when you burn them, they smell so good. And so what I'm doing is putting the embeds in. And as you can see, it's called Berry Scotch Dreams because it has bears in it. And this fragrance is like a beautiful berry, scotchy, like amazingness. And it looks like they're on the cloud. So that's how I get the name, Berry Scotch Dreams. So as you can see, they actually didn't come out that bad. And what we're gonna do is just top these off, as you can see. And I wanted you guys to see this from scratch. Like I really wanted you, like this isn't, I'm not a super professional, but as you can see, it's something that you can probably do. Of course, you would have to get all the materials and learn the flash points and learn the melting points of the wax you're using, buy the materials. It is time consuming, but you can do anything you put your mind to, just like me. So as you can see, they worked out pretty good. Now I'm just trying to decide if I want to put some more embeds on there. Now as you can see, they came out pretty awesome. This is the finished product of the ones we did earlier. As you can see, all of those are going to get the wet wax on top of them, the ones that are at the top. As you can see down the bottom, we have our finished products as well. Super awesome. They came out really cute. As you can see, they have the embeds in, and I gotta tell you guys, they smell amazing. This is actually part of my chocolate line, so I have the chocolate bar with the chocolate bar embeds that I did, and they have the wet wax, of course. not all my candles have wood wax, but these do. They have chocolate chips. That's the chocolate dream candle as well. And yes, it does smell like chocolate. Yummy. And then this is going to be my Reiki candles. They're going to get crystals on top of them. So that's going to be super awesome when those are done. I use a heat gun to melt the top of the candles on that. And then I insert the actually 9 crystals that are used for meditation. All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Make sure you subscribe and share this video, and make sure you're around for the next video of awesome stuff. Check out my Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye.